Good. So look, um, so we're about to have another conversation, bring some great founders up here. So we're bringing up Tamara Lucas and Laura Shack. Tamara is the founder of My Panda, the personal assistant next door app. She's a Techstars alum and a good friend of mine. Laura Shack is the founder of Tatted, which is AI to find your perfect tattoo artist. And she's also a Techstar alum, so that's something we all have in common. And Laura is fresh off the stage at TechCrunch Disrupt. Welcome, 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 welcome. How are you?
Hey.
Hi.
Good to see you. There we go. Boom. We got the layout popping, except your face is covered now, Django. Sorry, bro.
It's all good. I don't mind.
So good to meet you, man. I've been like dealing with you. I feel like on LinkedIn since like forever and stuff. It's good to meet you in person. Yay.
Sensational.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I forgot to do so. I'm doing the most over here. I got my little. You guys got a little applause.
Hey, there we go. There we go.
Yay! I love it. I love
Get a
it.
little applause for the ladies here. So I'm super excited to talk to y'all. So we're talking about what founders wish investors understood about mental health, and let's just get right into it. And I'll just toss this question out here for both of y'all, and then I'll have some specific questions for each one of you, but you can answer no particular order. But what is it that you wish investors understood about the emotional reality of building a startup? Who wants to go first?
I'll jump in. I think, I was thinking about this a little bit, and I think there's just like a very basic like life experience thing that is very different for a lot of investors who tend to have wealth and money, and then founders who sometimes we have some resources and whatnot, but a lot of times we kind of just go into the world looking at things a little bit differently, because people that have a lot of money look at things very differently than people that do not have a lot of money. So I think it's just a very, very basic understanding of what our life is like and how much difference $200 makes. And it's like, it's something that I think, if you're really wealthy, you just don't think about that, right? $200 is like 2 cents to me. So it's like just sort of this disconnect. I think that's sort of at the basis of everything. That I just think that runs through a lot of it.
I totally hear that. I have literally jumped subway turnstiles to get to an investor meeting. So
wow.
I can totally feel that. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Based in Brooklyn. So come out and see me. But no,
I grew up in Brooklyn. I don't know if you knew that.
You're from Brooklyn? I didn't know that.
I grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn. Went to high school, Brooklyn Tech. Yep.
Here.
I can see
I
that.
love it. Oh my God. No wonder we get along, James.
100%.
That's so funny. No, so it is such a different world, right? And like even when they come on your cap table, I wish it didn't feel like you're still sort of sitting across from the table. I mean, I hope investors already know that, like, when they're talking to a founder, and I'm kind of like referencing someone they've probably already invested in, they're never as emotionally composed or doing as well as they're going to say that they are. And I'll give you a quick example. I remember I sent out an investor update. This was a couple years back. I sent out an investor update. There was a time when Tatted was like really on the outs, and it felt like all the doors were closing, and it felt like everything was like on the downturn. And I sent out this like, investor update that was pretty honest. And I don't think my brain or my hands could type anything else other than kind of where I was at. And I had an investor call me immediately, and he was like, "Don't send investor updates like that." He was like, "Your investors don't want to hear that. They're like, what do you think we're going to think when we read that?" And in my head, I'm like, your money's already on the cap table either way. Like this isn't a potential investor thing. Like, so
right.
the investors recognize that
you can't have it back.
You know what I mean? I'm like, call me and be like, "Hey, where are you at? Like, what can we do? How can we support you? What do you need?" You know what I mean? Those are, the questions that I would have loved to hear from this person. And so they kind of create this culture that you can't be honest with your investors about how you're doing actually, because they still want this front that you have to put up, which I understand for potential investors. You're like, listen, here's the good stuff. Like, and you push this other stuff behind here, which is fine.
13 million next year.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Just look at all these just certain KPIs. Don't look at those KPIs. Look at these KPIs. So I totally can get that with it. But once you're with us, like, come to battle with us, man. You know what I mean? Like, and let us, if we can't be honest with you guys, then who are we going to be honest with about what's going on? Because like we don't want to tell our employees who are probably working for free or next to nothing that then who do we go to? And so I hope that they kind of realize that they're the ones that can unisolate us, I guess, in those hard moments.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that. And, so we talked about the book that Django and I co-wrote. I'll just flash it up real quick. But the point about the book is that we have founders and investors who are writing stories in here, and we're trying to normalize these conversations. And a lot of these investors are talking about the importance. So Brad Feld wrote a chapter, and he talked about finding investors who care about, he said the good ones care about founder wellness. So it's just, but I think Django made a good point earlier about like all money ain't good money, but when you need money, like, dang, like,
yeah, it's real.
Well, and I think that a lot of that just has to do also with like understanding the humanity of the founders, that we're not just there to crank out profit. Like there's a lot of different things that go into this. We are, and there's not really a line between the business and your life. This is not just a job, right? Like, I mean, I've sunk all of my resources into this company.
Everything.
Yeah, it's just like, and so the commitment level that I have is huge. Like, I'm not going to let this not work. But to understand that we're not just here working a job, it's like, it's our entire life, and that feeds into what this whole conversation is about, right? Like it feeds into our finances, number one, because everything is in it. And then our families, my kid was joking, one of his friends' moms, I guess the stay-at-home mom, we were talking about that. He's like, yeah, my mom stays at home too, but she works all the time. Like, because I like this spot that I'm in right now, like my kids see me here all the time, like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night.
Your tree's beautiful anyway. Your tree looks great.
I know she's a super mom over there. She has the Christmas decorations and working all day.
I know.
What's interesting is both of you guys just said that you said, Laura, when Tamara was talking about her resources being in it, you were like, you're all in. I talked about how I cleaned out my savings 30 stacks like years ago. Django told a story about how he did the same thing. This is four of us randomly coming together, and all four of us have done that. So like, how many more founders out there, like all their chips are in the middle of the table? I think the title of my chapter in the book, Django, I don't know if we settled on it. I think the title of my chapter in the book is All In.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true. It's what makes mental health really deeply connected with this, because this is embedded in who we are. And I kind of tell people like, this is a dream in the same way that like an artist or musician, like you would never tell like a 50-year-old artist to stop painting. You know what I mean? Like this is, and I understand it's a company and there's a P&L and there's like all these other logistics that make it feel maybe a little bit colder to some other people, but to founders, like, this is like, I want this more than I think I've ever wanted anything in my life. And like, I don't know how to like really
I wanted it more than I wanted my next breath sometimes.
I'm telling you.
And sometimes your breath feels like it's dependent on it too. I mean, it's that feeling of, it's life or death. I mean, it feels like life or death. And I suppose
damn,
not necessarily, but like kind of like if I had to sell my house and move into like some apartment someplace because that's the only resource I have left, which I almost got to that point earlier this year. Like, I'm not going to die, but like my life is going to severely be changed.
Yeah.
And so it feels at that basic, like that very deep
heavy
survival thing. Like, you wake up in the middle of the night and your heart's racing and you are freaking out because your power bill is 2 months late and you're trying to get your kids' baseball signed up for, but you can't afford it. So it goes on credit card. It's just like all of these things. And it just feeds into every part of your life. And it really, it's not just like,
oh boy.
Yeah.
That's why we need therapy.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, no doubt. So what I did not mention is that both of you guys have been beneficiaries of the mental therapy grants from the Founder Mental Health Fund. And I just appreciate y'all being willing to come on here and be like, yeah, we got it. And Right? I appreciate y'all for doing that.
Of course. I'm a huge proponent of it, like I think it's really undervalued in the community, and people aren't as open to talk about it and being like, I feel like I'm about to have a panic attack because, the investor money isn't coming in and now I have to pay this employee or whatever, all these other things that we have to, our personal finances and then all these employees that are relying on us. And then of course, all these stakeholders that are looking at us and being like, are you going to sink or swim type of thing. And so there's immense amount of pressure on every part of it. And the one thing as, someone who is like, hit deep troughs and somehow Phoenix risen out of the ashes and like literally had people ask me like, how did you how
you see that tat on your arm? Can you show it?
I actually have our logo too.
Hey, so you didn't put your website in your thing, but her website is tatted.ai.
Commitment.
Go check it out.
Sign up, tell it up.
Yeah. So when I was DMing with Laura, I was like, listen, when I, have my first close of my venture firm, I'm gonna get this badass Phoenix tattoo. She was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna find you somebody. Make sure you get some color, these backgrounds and all this and all that. I'm like, hell yeah, definitely hitting you back up when I'm ready to do this. 1000%. So so real quick, Laura, you were at TechCrunch Disrupt, like on stage. Like, what was that like?
Oh, it was super fun. I personally love public speaking. I find it really exhilarating. So like, I feel like I can thrive there. And then I also feel like for my personal brand, it's good for me to get someone's ear because if they first hear that there's a tattoo app, some investors are like, woof. And then I'm like, no. I want to talk about LTV. I want to talk about recurring revenue. I want to talk about, you know what I mean? Like this is real stuff. This is real founder stuff. So once I can get their ear, things can work out well. And it was just a huge event and a lot of publicity. So it was great.
And y'all were legit giving people tattoos at TechCrunch Disrupt.
We did. We literally did a.
Oh, she
on
froze.
This convention floor.
Yeah, I saw some pictures. Y'all were giving tattoos.
Yes. We gave free tattoos to all the people out there, to like almost 100 people.
100 people?
Yeah, we're on the list.
Wow, amazing. So I got a specific question for you, Laura, then we'll come back to you, Tamara. So Laura, when building Tatted, what has been the hardest kind of conflict between company demands and your own well-being, and how did you navigate it?
Yeah, I would say, and I think this is both, founders, investors, the whole community. I think we are taught as founders that meaning if I don't work tonight, if I take a night off, it is at odds for the rest of the company. You know what I mean? If I'm not grinding at all times, it's at odds at the rest of the company because I'm resting, therefore I'm not producing X, Y, Z. Rather than seeing it as extremely necessary and saying, I'm going to take a night off and actually I'm going to feel really good about that. I'm going to feel really productive in doing that and taking my mental wellness very, very seriously because it actually will be more beneficial to the company on a longer term level than if I crank out those other 100 investor emails tonight or whatever it is that you have on your to-do list type of thing. And I think making that the realization and taking the guilt away from taking care of yourself, which sounds crazy, but it's true, was probably the biggest turning point for me and it has allowed me to keep the company afloat truly.
Well, that was a recurring theme in the book, Django. I recall seeing, and I talked about this in my chapter. So Django hopped out. He's going to go back to the green room. So let me fix this here real quick. Where's that 3-screen thing? There we go. So Nicola Corzine is a friend. She runs the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center. And she always says that sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. Yeah. And rest is essential so we can think clearly. So yeah, it's all good. You got to stop, slow down. Like I'm at a point now where I'm like, you know what? I'm not feeling this crap today. And if it's not urgent, you know what? I'm not doing it.
You have to.
I'm not doing it. And I don't feel guilty about it anymore. I used to. Yeah. But I don't anymore.
Well, you just end up like spinning your wheels when I push through, then I'm just like, I do this and I do this and I'm just so frenzied. It just I'm not really getting anything done. I'm just like getting my adrenaline system rushing. And then I get frustrated. And then I feel like I'm a loser and I'm an idiot and I can't do anything. Right. Like that whole, imposter.
That spiral. Thing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it really doesn't do any good, but it is really, really hard. And what I find though too, is even when I tell myself I'm going to take the time, my brain's still going. But sometimes I
Yes.
think that might be good because it's like you're disengaged doing other things. And sometimes that's also when my best ideas have come, when
Yeah.
I am doing something
Yeah.
unrelated to work, enjoying myself, taking a walk or going
Yeah.
camping or
100%.
doing
Taking
those
my
sort of
dog
things.
to the park. 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, but then I have to remember it. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like, not just letting it just slip through your brain and go
100%.
away.
So I got a question for you, Tamara. So we got 4 minutes left here. How has building My Panda shaped the way you think about balancing personal wellness with the demands of growing a company?
Well, I mean, that's kind of what My Panda is, right? Like, okay, so I'm a social psychology and social work. That's what my degrees in. So this is all comes very naturally to me. I am here to help people. It is my goal in life to make people's lives better. And so, I mean, My Panda is designed to help us with those things in life and to get help and support, right? And like, so it's like it's completely baked into it. And I mean, but my big thing is you've got to delegate. You've got to delegate some stuff off your plate. And that feeds into running a business as well. But we can do it more at work. We don't really do it at home as much, So that's really what I kind of try to help get people to understand. And that's what we provide with our services is that ability to get stuff off your plate. So it's for me, it's all very much intertwined. And it kind of is like in the foundational fabric of My Panda. So it all fits in perfectly.
We like I teed that up for you, right?
That was very nice. Thank you.
Hilarious.
And we have gift cards if anyone wants to gift themselves or anyone that they love the gift of time.
I love it.
Fantastic. All right. So we have 3 minutes left here. So I got another question for you, Laura. What role has community support or peer founder support played in your own mental wellness?
Yeah, I think my number one advice to founders is to find founder friends, I guess, right? Where it's
100%.
like, I am lucky to have an extremely supportive family, extremely supportive. However, if you haven't gone through it and you haven't been in those shoes and you haven't gotten the 500th investor now, or sold a piece of furniture to keep the company alive or something, right? Like, if you haven't had those moments, then it's going to be just a little bit more difficult to relate and to feel really seen as a founder, because it's just such a unique experience and journey. And to sit down with people that have been in your shoes, even right now, honestly, Tamara, I'm like, really, we need to talk after this. Like, we need to connect. We need to get a coffee, you and I.
Honestly, I was excited for y'all two to connect. I really was.
Totally.
I love it.
That was sort of intentional, so you know that.
Good
I
job,
love it. Of
James.
course it was. We know you, James. but no, I think it's really beautiful. I think people need to seek it out. I think it is essential to survival. And we need to be really open to supporting each other in that way. And by being on here and being honest, I think we're also kind of contributing to the community our vulnerability, right? And kind of like wanting other people to share that as well. And I hope that kind of this trend continues, along with everything that you're building, James. I think it's spectacular. And so maybe we can build community that's honestly even more valuable to each other.
So good. So we got 2 minutes. These last 2 minutes, Tamara, I got a question for you. You sort of touched on this a little bit, I think, already, but what is one internal pressure you face as a founder that investors rarely see?
It is the all-encompassing how it touches every part of everything. Like, the therapy that I got through Kabila, that like what I talked about was my relationship with my, at that point, 13-year-old son, right? Like I was having a hard time, and a lot of it had to do with that. I just didn't have that much time to, engage with him the way, yes, I'm working from home, I'm flexible, but like, it's almost worse because I'm working all the time. So it's how it like it weaves into everything, above and beyond the financial, the relationships and all of the things. And I don't know if a lot of investors realize the depth of how it affects everything.
I'm so glad you talked about the parenting piece of it, because I have a massive heart for parents who are entrepreneurs. I think parentpreneurs are like the real ones. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, and I'm so thankful for you, Laura, and for Tam. We will talk to you later. Thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Cheers.
I love it. Thanks.
All righty. Bye.